podcast. Thank you for being here today with me, myself, and my beautiful bearded heterosexual Jewish life partner, Josh, who is operating those controls. Oh my gosh. It's official. The infighting has begun. The GOP infighting for the 2024 bid of the presidency has begun. Kari Lake has thrown her first punch.
Feels good.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, Kari Lake off the top rope with the accusation of a Soros plan, according to DeSantis. Now, we're going to get to this and a lot more, folks. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button over there on Rumble. We appreciate you being here today. But I feel like people are going to take this Kari Lake thing. We're going to get to this, and I want to dissect this and break this down because I already see the tactics they're going to use. I feel like Kari Lake has really fucked up here. I feel like Trump is basically pulling all of his MAGA influencers together, and we're going to see some of the biggest infighting that we have seen in a very long time. And ultimately, I think DeSantis is going to run. There's a lot coming, folks. Kari Lake, who was kind of beloved by the GOP during her governor run down in Arizona, has now fired her first shot. Well, I shouldn't say first shot, but has fired an explosive shot at Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, before we get into this, folks, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. You want to support the show, you want to support us, you can go check out our company. We have just released a lot of great products, a lot of great deals. We have a great loyalty program coming up here in the next few weeks. And we've invested a lot of money in this technology, and it's going to help our customers really feel like they're building equity in the company. You know, you can get dollar back value, things such as this. The more you purchase, the more you build up your points that you can cash in later for free product. A lot of great things coming. So make sure you go check out shellshockcbd.com. Also, if you want to support the show and the podcast, go to the allamericансavageshow.com. Again, allamericансavageshow.com. That's where we're pulling articles from. You can sign up for the podcast. You can check to receive notifications, sign up for the email list. That way, if they censor us, well, fuck social media. We've got your email. We can put all the information out there. We're building this whole email list to start sending you articles that are unbiased. They're not being manipulated. And you can get just the facts. Just the facts. I think that's fair enough. So again, that's allamericансavageshow.com. And appreciate you guys being here today. Again, hit that thumbs up button and hit that share button. All right, let's get straight into it. We're not even going to beat around the bush on this one. We've got Kari Lake.
Force that in there.
Speaking of forcing that in there, don't forget to check out the brand new Shell Shock CBD lubricant that we've just dropped. Yes, it's real. It's water-based. It's not sticky. It'll get you out of some tight situations and kind of let a little smooth glide in there. You get investigated by the IRS? Hey, we can help you out. If Uncle Sam's fucking you, well, he doesn't have to do it dry. Yeah. Use our CBD lube. You can check that out. Again, that's the topical over at shellshockcbd.com. All right, let's get into this. Like, this, I feel, is people are going to misunderstand this. This is a very slimy tactic for Kari Lake to take, but this is not surprising from the MAGA cultists. This is not surprising from the Trump loyalty MAGA cultists. And the reason I take issue with this is we don't need this right now. We don't need this right now. But again, you know Trump, he's got every single one of his influencer cronies out there going to be batting for him. I can list them by name. He's going to have Turning Point, Kirk, all of them. They're going to go to bat for Trump, or they're going to try and stay out of it because they also like DeSantis. They don't want to pick between mom and dad. But what Kari Lake has done here, she tweeted out February 16th at 11:51 p.m. It's already got 1 million views. I can't believe I didn't even see this, but it popped up on my radar today. She says, and she tweets out, "The kiss of death. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis endorsed by George Soros." Okay. Why are you going to tweet this out? Instantaneously, you know who they're pandering for on this one. It's the MAGA cultists. It's the boomers, which again make up the majority of the voter base. They like seeing shit like this. Not necessarily but they believe this at face value. They take it at face value. Oh, and I've already made the announcement. The way they are going to spin the battle of Trump versus DeSantis is that they are going to paint DeSantis as the GOP establishment. They're going to paint him as if he is the neocon. Look, I'm sorry, but Trump has had horrible picks. Trump endorses McCarthy. Trump has endorsed a lot of fucking neocons. That guy is not one to talk. He is not one to talk. DeSantis, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just going to come out and say it. DeSantis is getting the results. You look at Florida and what he's done. He's getting the results. And the only reason I am so passionate about this is because of Trump pulling everybody into this. The age of Trump, I'm sorry to say it, folks. I'm like, I wish you would shut the fuck up. And most people are getting tired of his fucking mouth. Like, I get it, you're Trump, but I wanted 2016 Donald Trump. I don't need this Trump. This Trump's an annoying little asshole. You are projecting massive insecurities on a guy that went to war with Disney and fucking won. You didn't do anything. DeSantis is fixing Florida in so much that other governors of red states are saying, shit, I better get on board with this because it's working. And they're taking back their states. And they're getting the woke liberal ideology out of there. But Trump and Kari Lake and the rest of them, you can't hack that. You don't like that. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to destroy this guy's credibility. Meanwhile, they are setting the standard for the United States of what red states should look like and operate at. How do I know this? Look at what the left is saying about DeSantis. Oh, too much government overreach. Bullshit. He's doing it the right way. He's going in there and he's banning this bullshit, this woke ideology that's attacking heterosexual white people, and he's protecting the children and the whole don't say gay bill. I'm sorry, what did Trump do? And the thing is, we shouldn't even have to have this conversation. The only reason we're having it is Trump pulled us into this. By Trump opening his mouth, he pulled us into this. So I know a lot of people in the GOP are like, oh, we don't need it. Hey, Trump started this. He started this.
Did he though?
He did. Trump went public with this. Now, DeSantis could have made a statement in a closed room, which wasn't intentional, but even still, to be called a moron, and then for Trump to go after this guy and paint him as if he's a predator, like, come on, dude. This is ridiculous. This is just fucking stupid. And I'm going by results. And I'm sorry. When I look at results, DeSantis is getting results. Trump, not so much. He did some good things, don't get me wrong.
I'm not putting my faith in any politician.
I'm not either, but the point is, though, if we are forced to make a decision, what we're seeing right now is just the most ridiculous tactic I've seen in a long time, but it makes sense. Kari Lake, to go back to her tweet, she said George Soros is backing DeSantis. Okay, my next question is, did DeSantis, number one, seek out his endorsement? Which common sense would tell you to the boomer neocons that are Trump cultists, listen up very closely. Get the fucking Trump wall juice out of your ear and just listen really close, okay? Why would any politician on the right, knowing full well the positioning that George Soros has placed himself into, ever seek out an endorsement from him? That is political suicide. That is, your career is over.
Is it? I mean,
yes,
Putin
100%.
endorsed Trump.
Did Trump seek out Putin's endorsement? See, this is the problem that this is how they're phrasing this. It's like, I can sit there and say, I endorse so-and-so, but so-and-so never asked for my endorsement and doesn't support me. Should that person be penalized because I'm endorsing them? No, because folks, I'm gonna tell you this right now. This is a tactic. You know why? If this is true that Soros is backing DeSantis, do you know why? Soros is not stupid. He knows his position. Soros knows if he backs DeSantis, that means DeSantis is gonna have some hard times. That's because Soros views DeSantis as the threat. He's not scared of Trump. Yeah, he's scared of DeSantis. I guarantee it. Why else would he do that? Did you ever see Soros?
There's a couple
Trump?
different. No, but we heard Putin say Trump is
Putin's irrelevant. We're talking about Soros right now. Soros is an American.
It's the same level of influence, though, right? Here, Putin is the president of Russia.
No, Soros is in America.
Yeah, he's in America, but he's got the same level of leftist ideology, right?
As Putin? They're completely opposites.
But you can. It's like there are two people that you wouldn't want their endorsement.
Oh, of course, yeah. But right? Did DeSantis actively seek out said endorsement?
Did Trump actively seek out? No, but still, I think he would do it because he knows people would be like, oh, well, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
And they're not going to vote. Or he knows that people are going to think that and then vote for him anyway.
Nah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I see what you're saying, but I don't think you got to remember though the commonality of most voters are they're very superficial. They take things like cosmetic. They don't read into stuff. They just look at a clickbait stuff like that and they go by that. Oh, Trump or forget DeSantis is GOP establishment. I'm not voting for him because Trump's not. Trump's going to drain the swamp. Trump did not drain the swamp, folks. In fact, Trump added to it. I'm sorry, but his picks were horrendous. Horrendous. And they're still coming back to bite him in the ass. Now, DeSantis, he's getting results. Oh, he's taking friggin' donor money from Jeb Bush. Like, I don't know that. But even still, if this guy is getting results and he's not going contrary to the Constitution, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Get the results. I would love to see DeSantis as a president because I think he would honestly combat the left to a degree that Republicans have never had the balls to do.
Maybe.
I think he could. But what Kari Lake has done here, Kari Lake has shown herself to be a MAGA cultist. And folks, I have sat here, I have warned you about Turning Point, I have warned you about Charlie Kirk, I have warned you about every single one of these fucking blue check influencers, that they blindly follow these politicians and they don't do any criticisms. None. They can't because they're in bed with them. Therefore, everything they say is biased. It's tainted. You cannot believe it. You have to take it with a grain of salt. So when Kari Lake is doing this, why? Why do you think that? Because she views DeSantis as a threat. She knows Trump versus DeSantis could be a potential for 2024, or the primaries leading to it. Kari Lake has just shown her hand. That's fucking disgusting. You didn't need to do this. You did not need to go to this route, but you did. Fair enough. You're a MAGA cultist. I will never have respect for her again. Why are you firing on your own that's actually winning culture wars that you claim are so important, but instead, you're God King Emperor Trump, you suck his dick, you get on your knees, and you kiss this man's ass? I'm sorry. I'm going with results. And I genuinely feel DeSantis is going to be able to get the results that we need. He will fire up the GOP base. He'll unite people. My God, even the press has already labeled DeSantis as more dangerous than Trump because he's like the refined version of Trump. That's something I love to hear. No, I love hearing that.
Did Kari Lake actually, I'm looking at her Twitter page, and looks like she's reposting the GatewayPundit.com story, which says the kiss of death.
Mm-hmm.
So she's...
Well, why would she do that?
Kari Lake maybe it's a relevant story when you have George Soros who endorses Ron DeSantis.
But why is she bringing
the title
that more,
of the article is...
But why is she bringing that more eyes on? And she didn't counter it. She just said Florida governor endorsed by George Soros. I'm just looking at her.
I haven't even heard George Soros.
I'm looking at the tweet right here.
Have you heard George Soros's comments yet?
I'm talking at face value here. What she has just tweeted and the interpretation people are going to get, because most people are probably not going to click on this. But Kari Lake, note in the tweet, she did not disavow this. She did not criticize. She just said, oh, look, Governor DeSantis, kiss of death, endorsed by George Soros. And then sharing the article from the Gateway Pundit. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, Dave Rubin here commented on her page. Says, Kari may want to watch the video again. He didn't endorse him. For the record, Soros is evil, but that's a sidebar here.
There you go.
That was Dave Rubin. So.
Yeah, and then you've got Ryan Fournier. He said he called Trump pitiful and DeSantis shrewd. He also said that his hope is for DeSantis to run against Trump and ultimately win the Republican nomination. I support the guy who is hated by Soros, Trump 2024. Ryan Fournier has always been a Trump loyalist. I love Ryan. He's a good dude, but he's a Trump loyalist. Dave Rubin, props for him for coming out there and saying that shit. Yeah. But Kari Lake, she knew what she was doing. She's not stupid.
Yeah, I think it's going to get nasty.
It's going to get very nasty.
But the 2016 election was just as nasty.
I don't think it's going to be this nasty because
there was like 35 people that were running for president on the Republican side, and when it got down to Cruz, Rubio, and Trump,
Rubio never stood a chance.
No, but it got really nasty. I mean, you had Rubio talking about Trump's small hands and a little wiener, and
Trump's already trying to make DeSantis out to be a predator, and I'm like, dude. He hasn't even announced a run yet.
You know that
Trump is giving it away. Like, he knows DeSantis is going to run. He probably knows it.
Me personally, I would still like to see a second term of a Trump presidency, just because I think he got such a shitty deal on his first term. He was. I would like to see what else he would do. I mean, not to say that Ron DeSantis wouldn't be a good president, and if he became president, I would prefer that over any other alternative. So. I think it's just we're gonna keep seeing this shit.
Oh, probably. It's gonna get 10 times worse. It's gonna get 10 times worse. I don't think
just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're not some sort of a scumbag politician.
Yeah, absolutely.
A majority of these people are in it for themselves for the most part. So I think there's a small handful of people who really have the American people's best interest at heart. So,
very few and far between.
Yeah,
but Kari knew what she was doing with this. She knew what she was doing with this. Even here, I wouldn't say this. Props for Dave Rubin for calling her out.
Yeah.
Like, we need that. You need that. You've got to have that accountability. Sure. He says, Kari, you may want to watch this video again. He didn't endorse him. For the record, Soros is evil, but that's a sidebar here. But also, the Gateway Pundit even wrote that article.
Yep.
And they even entitled it that article. And then Kari Lake literally reposted said article. Didn't counter it. Because perception is reality. Most people are not going to watch the video. They're not going to listen. So what they're going to go by? And this is how stupid our country is. And here's the other thing. Kari Lake and the rest of them know this. We cannot sit here and claim, ignorance is bliss. They know what they're doing. This is politicking 101. These are slimy tactics. And honestly, I'm ashamed, or I'm actually kind of shocked she used that. I had a lot of respect for her. Her run in Arizona I really feel it was stolen from her.
Most of these elections,
I think so,
look like they're stolen.
And we backed her. But then you turn around and you pull some shit like this. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I think
stay out of it.
I could see her being Trump's pick.
Oh,
for
she is,
VP.
yeah. Well,
So, I mean,
that would be impressive. I'm not going to lie on that one. But even still, you have Dinesh D'Souza, who's a Trump loyalist. Trump pardoned him. Dinesh will never go against Trump, and that's not someone you ever want to listen to. You got Kari Lake. But my other thing is, it's just kind of like, why would you retweet this? Why would you tweet this out? What's the point? If Soros didn't actually endorse,
it's going to make DeSantis look bad.
It's going to make DeSantis look bad. So Kari Lake is clearly showing her MAGA cultist thing, and it's like, you know what? The more GOP infighting we get, so be it. Let people be seen for their true colors, because when it comes down to the Constitution, I'm going by those that favor that mostly, and Trump was not a constitutionalist-based president. The actions I'm seeing from DeSantis, more so, yes. I'm not in favor of banning a lot of things, but when in terms of taxpayer money funded stuff, yes, I am. I'm 100% saying, nope, that should not be the government's right to do it. Ban it, get rid of it. You should not be teaching sex shit to fucking 3-year-olds. You should not be teaching CRT, which is basically black racism, to fucking white kids. I'm tired of it. And DeSantis is like, no, this is influencing culture and we're getting results. DeSantis is getting results. I respect that. Trump did some good things. I'm not trying to take that away from him either. But Trump gets in his own fucking way. Look how DeSantis handles the press. Look how, I'm sorry, when we look at both of them, don't think for a second DeSantis is going to have the press on it. He won't. They hate him. Yeah. They view him as an up-and-coming threat. But I do think that DeSantis, with his background, I think he can handle a lot better than Trump can.
Yeah, the only Republican that the legacy media really likes is
probably their own
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Lindsey Graham,
you don't
Collins,
you don't ever see anything about like Romney in the press. Like they never chew this guy up. They love them.
He's an establishment guy.
Exactly.
So,
the fact that
if they're going after him, then they've got some juice on their side.
Yeah.
So
it's ridiculous. And Cramen says, Burke, what you said a few months ago, which I agree with, is if the GOP was smart, they would run Trump for 4 more years and then have DeSantis running. That's 12 years. I agree, but the problem is Trump won't shut the fuck up. I feel like Trump and DeSantis should have sat down. I feel like the GOP should have sat down and kind of come to Jesus meeting and say, what's our strategy here?
That's just not. It's a swamp, and that's why I think when he got in there, the swamp was a lot deeper than he had initially anticipated.
It's political corruption to the fucking hilt, no doubt about it.
Like when I just think that's probably the reality of it. Is when he got into office, he's like, "Damn, this thing is pretty really deep. Nasty."
But then Trump's picks were like, "You pick swamp members, you endorse these pieces of shit like McCarthy."
Who else are you going to pick?
He picked a lot of good people at the same token. I'm like, A.G. Barr was a horrible job.
The one person
Giuliani was pretty good.
He should have stood behind is General Flynn.
Yeah.
Because that guy got fucked.
He got fucked. There was a lot of people he should have, and he didn't. Yeah. And then he endorses Junior Majewski and the rest of these fucking stolen valor shitheads. Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, but your picks have not been good. They have not been good.
I mean, what you got to say, a majority of the people that he endorsed did win their election
But that's not saying anything. He endorsed Majewski. I'm glad he didn't win. He shouldn't have won. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I guess.
But all you're saying, though, and I get what you're saying, is that he has pull. He's got pull. Absolutely he does. And that's why a lot of people go out there and they bend the knee to the God King Trump because the GOP had made him the face. But it is a kind of a good thing the GOP is pulling away, saying we don't need a leader. But at the same token, there's always going to be one, so who's going to step in? And it's nothing but neocons right now. But DeSantis, I don't think so.
Maddox was... how he is, how he came out, Mad Dog Maddox. Mattis, I'm sorry.
I think if you would have sat down, if we had the ability to sit down and talk with this guy, then yes, it would have been clear as day.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, the only reason that we were duped is that it was nothing but social media posts about General Mattis. But we never really actually heard this guy speak on policy. But when he did start speaking on policy, like, what the fuck? Trump should have known that.
But he did some smart things, like when he had... John Bolton.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, that guy's a warmonger.
But what are those people? What is John Bolton's known for being a warmonger? Mm-hmm. So when Trump has him, what was he? Secretary of State?
I don't remember.
It was something like that. He had him in. That put a notice out to these other countries that Bolton's a war hawk. Mm-hmm. He likes to go to war.
Yeah.
If he has him, then we should probably perk up our ears because there could be war right around the corner with this guy.
You know what I mean? Doberman. I don't know, because at the same token, you don't need your symbol of I like going to war when you as a president have bigger balls than anybody else. So it's like, look, we'll go to war. I don't need this proxy to put out a warning. I mean, when Trump tells Putin, if you attack Ukraine, I will bomb Moscow.
Right.
You don't need your John Boltons.
Yeah, but
that's just Trump coming out there and saying, I don't fuck,
Yeah, if Xi Jinping sees John Bolton, like he's like, that a guy like I go to war.
The round but to bomb us back to Hiroshima did not end so well for Japan.
He like a war.
We are so racist on this show. I don't care. That's funny. I agree with you. I wish, man, I agree. I wish Trump would get a second term. But the antics that Trump is showing right now, I'm sorry, I can't support that.
Yeah,
I think this guy is being a crybaby. He's projecting massive insecurities. Bro, like, what the fuck are you doing? You make me not proud to have ever endorsed you. Stop acting like a fucking child. Let's focus on the shit that actually, like, this is what Trump doesn't get. If Trump would just focus on the things he focused on, like, for example, recently, he's calling out a lot of the culture war stuff, which we talk about, the transgender ideology, all this stuff. He's coming out against it. And when he does, you are doing it right. That's 2016 Trump. When you're attacking DeSantis, that's some bullshit that we don't need. You don't need this. Bro, go by your actions and not by the fucking projected or the suspected role they're going to play in your 2024 bid. Nikki Haley. He's punching at her now. Why? She's polling at 3%. This bitch doesn't stand a chance in hell. Leave it alone.
Spite.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's what Trump is. And, you know, for a while there, that's what the GOP loved. But they're getting burned down on it now. It's like, okay, you need to progress a little bit and stop acting like a big fucking orange crybaby. It's getting annoying.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it would be nice just for people to be like, you know, I don't give a shit about what they said.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because if you get gas prices under $2 again,
They're
if
gonna
you
vote
get
for it,
grocery
yeah.
prices
Yes.
under control, if you
Yes.
get inflation down and all this other,
Yeah.
I don't care what he calls anybody else.
I
You know,
do.
I don't care if he
The
says,
side
you know,
damage
makes
is
jokes
part of
about
it.
Paul Pelosi having hammers coming out of his asshole. I don't care.
I
You know,
care in the
'cause-
sense of when you were trying to undermine the governor who's actually doing a lot of good things and spearheading this segue into America, saying this is what right-leaning states should be doing en masse. We should all be doing this. When Trump is trying to counter him simply because he views him as a threat to the 2024 bid, then it clearly tells me you care more about yourself than the overall well-being of the United States of America. And I'm sorry, but as a president, that should be your focus. Trump needs to shut the fuck up. Because I'm telling you, if he keeps this up, I'm voting and pulling for DeSantis all the way. All the way.
He's not the typical president that people are used to seeing.
No, we're used to seeing this now, and we're getting tired of it.
With Trump.
We've been seeing this since 2016, and before
with Trump,
with Trump, and it was warranted. But now it's like it's enough.
Yeah, he's not that polished politician who's been coached by all these lobbyists
But we
about
can't
how he
keep
needs to
saying
act.
that and making his
I just-
excuses
I
for
just-
his attacking DeSantis.
Yeah, for me, it's just whoever can bring taxes down,
Right.
gas prices under control,
Right.
stay out of our business.
Right.
That's all I care about.
What both of them could probably do that,
Probably,
but so
We'll
then
see.
then it falls into.
But again, it's a good problem to have if it's Trump or
Mm-hmm.
if it's DeSantis, because a Democratic candidate would just keep pushing us further and further into debt and probably
Yeah.
into war.
But I mean, that's no, because Republicans are just as bad with Ukraine. On the war thing, on the gas, yes, absolutely, because Republicans are going to drill.
Yeah, I would hope that
But the
DeSantis
Ukraine
isn't
thing,
a war hawk. That he'd be like, you know, we're going to send $100 billion over to
That's a very
Ukraine.
good question. I don't know where he stands on
Yeah,
that because he hasn't said anything.
No.
So that's a good question. But what I am seeing him do in Florida, he turned that thing fucking dark red.
Because if you were president,
Oh God,
would
help
you
us.
how would you support Ukraine
Hell no.
financially
Nope.
or with military
Nope.
or anything like that?
Nope, they're not a NATO ally. Absolutely not. We are not. I would not violate alliances. Now I know we have like different things that we've signed with them, but there comes a point. It's like, look, there's an end to this.
Like
And
if you want to send food, humanitarian needs,
Which
and
we've already
stuff
been
like,
doing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I understand that. But
at
as
the
far
same
as like
token-
sending $100 billion of taxpayer money,
well, we're gonna get to
a
that. Biden's asking for 36 million more.
Yeah,
And he's also denied the Ohio train wreck any type of FEMA funding. We're going to get to that. And apparently the White House explains why. Oh, please explain. I'm very interested in hearing why you want to support corrupt Nazis overseas fighting Russia. But we got people here in America that are dealing with fucking biohazard bullshit that's been brought on by a Secretary of Transportation. They can't get his head out of his boyfriend's butthole. I was like, but we want to fund Ukraine. Like this, where Americans are tired of it. And then Nikki Haley.
This might help.
Nikki Haley wants to weigh in on this, and she's just being the boomer neocon that she is, and we've got the article here. But this Kari Lake thing, like I'm telling you, folks, the reason that she's doing this, she is trying to undermine DeSantis. We do not need this type of infighting right now. This is not needed. Once DeSantis makes an announcement, which I think he will, then weapons free, go to town. But all you're doing right now is you are trying to do preemptive strikes on him, and it does not look good on any single one of you. That's what you just don't get. If I was like your PR manager, I'd tell you to shut the fuck up. If you want to attack DeSantis, fine. But wait till he announces the run, because right now it just makes you look petty as fuck. It makes you look petty, and it makes you look like a Trump loyalist. And we don't need that. We've got enough of that. Watch what the blue check influencers do as far as lobbing attacks on DeSantis. Watch. Now, I love Ryan Fournier and his little buddy. I forget what his name is. It's the Brussels or whatever. They run a company together. And instantaneously, he's like 25 years old. He's all about the corruption, all the bullshit. These people, they're paid to do this. This is their moneymaker, baby. Trump is their cash cow. They're going to support Trump till he's fucking dead in the grave. And then they're going to grift on somebody else. If you share this, do you support Trump? I support Trump. Share this with 10 friends if you do. Buy this gold coin with Trump's face on it to say, fuck you to Nancy Pelosi. Nobody gives a fuck about these people.
Who's buying those coins?
Boomers. Oh, fucking boomers, hands down. Because millennials and Gen Z, they're onto it. The boomers, they're still doing the whole, hey, if you share this 10 times, Jesus will cure this kid with cancer. Because they're stupid. Bro, they believe it. They have not grown comfortable with the internet yet. They're still believing that bullshit.
There's a guy a podcaster here on Rumble who does the QAnon stuff.
Oh, God.
He's got over 500,000 subs on there.
Oh, Jesus. It just shows you. It just shows you.
Just like going through the comments, like he gets a lot of views.
Yeah. Stupid people generally do, because there's a lot of them. I'm sorry, folks. There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers in this country, and a lot of them vote Republican. The QAnon has been debunked time and time again. And if you still believe in it, you're an idiot. You're no different than believing the government when it comes to shit with COVID. You just blindly follow these people because what? It makes you feel good? You don't question it? You just like, oh, it sounds good. Let's just close our eyes, plug our ears, like, it's real, it's real, it's real. You can't tell me otherwise. And it's like, but is Hillary in jail? Has Trump been reelected? Has Mike Pence been thrown in jail?
The tribunals are still ongoing.
Yeah.
We should have something by 2027.
No, guys, seriously, in 2024, Trump is going to have the military arrest Joe Biden, and then he's going to assume the mantle. Trust me, man. Trust the plan. It's 5D chess.
Bunch of fucking retards is what you are. That's what it is. Man, I cannot even imagine being in the company of the Kari Lakes and the Trumps that believe this shit. Much less the fucking, oh my God, Marjorie Taylor Greens. She went on apparently Donald Trump Jr.'s podcast, triggered her some shit, which, by the way, very original. And because we used to call ours the Triggered Podcast, but still, she talked about how when she made the comment about the space lasers and she was talking about the Rothschilds, she didn't know they were Jewish. Okay. Factor that out. A space laser causing wildfires? Are you fucking retarded? You were a soccer mom that struck congressional gold is all that was. You're a Trump Jr. My God, give her some orange spray paint and she's the female version of him.
If anything, it was a laser from a balloon. Going back as far as 2016 or 19, we're not really sure.
I know people are not going to like to hear me fucking go after these GOP neocons, but my God, we talk about draining the swamp. We talk about getting away from the boomers like the McConnells and the McCarthys, and then you turn around and you fucking reelect them. The boomers need to just go away, and the millennials, so many of them are not much better. They're not much better. It's a grift. It's a money-driven grift, and that's why we're not sponsored by anybody. We can say whatever the fuck we want. Nobody can hamstring us. Nobody can pigeonhole us.
Death Star of David.
It was a Jewish space. But she's like, I never referenced their ethnicity or religion. I just said the Rothschilds. Like, okay, fair enough, but it's still a stupid statement. The Rothschilds, oh my God, people are just dumb. But anyway, good for Dave Rubin for calling this shit out. Respect to him on that one. I don't know, man. Kari Lake doing that, bro. I lost a lot of respect for. I knew she was a Trump loyalist. I knew she was a Trump dick rider, but even still,
I think it's just a foreshadowing of her being his running mate. They probably talked about it.
But it's like, what are you doing as far as damage in the crossfire in the meantime? Like, okay, cool. If you're going to be Trump's VP, which I'm not going to lie, that's a solid team. That's a solid team.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you don't need to have any fucking, collateral damage in the GOP in the meantime. Like, let it go. Damn, Elsa. Fucking give it up. But, and here's the thing. Maybe it's a good thing she lost in Arizona because that would free her up to potentially do a run with Trump. I don't know.
She would have done it anyway.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, look at DeSantis.
But people are saying
just got reelected. So
yeah, but they're saying that Florida wants him because he's doing such a great job. They don't want to lose him as president. But I think, bro, if you can serve at a higher capacity and bring that good to the federal level, do it. We need it. We need it.
Well, I think generally that's why governors are probably better at running the United States because they're in charge of their own country, as opposed to senators and.
What about mayors? Same kind of difference, just a smaller community, but you still get how it runs.
Butthole O'Dork, he was a mayor.
Yeah, pretty much. But he was also stupid.
I don't know. I think probably, a mayor, I would say governor, just because it's, you're running a state.
Oh, my gosh. My phone's blowing up. I must have said something that pissed people off or some shit. I don't know. But, so that's the Kari Lake thing. Breaking that down again. Just even sit there saying, well, look who freaking Soros backed. It's like, did he actively go seeking for that nomination? Has he taken any money from him? If not, how are you blaming him for that? I feel like this is just a political thing. But again, according to Dave Rubin, he doesn't even endorse him, which is great. I mean, cool, whatever. But it'd be like the same as like if Soros suddenly endorsed Trump. It's like, wait, why is Soros endorsed? You know why. He's trying to hamstring. He's trying to fucking throw a wrench in the gears to get his own followers. It's just a psyop. And Kari Lake exploiting this, that's pathetic. Especially after all the help she got in the GOP. Especially for everybody running to her aid and like bringing light to the election breakdowns in Arizona, which I still don't know how the hell that flew. Still don't get it. Corruption at its highest level. Katie Hobbs, piece of shit.
Oh, that lady's a total scumbag.
Oh my God. I'm investigating myself and I find myself to be innocent. So speaking of Nikki Haley, who again, she's polling, last I checked was a few days, she's polling low. Trump eviscerates Nikki Haley after she officially launched his 2024 campaign. 45th President Donald Trump released a list of facts about Nimrata Nikki Haley, his first Republican primary opponent for 2024, highlighting her past policy positions and ties to the Republican Party establishment. Again, this is the position all these influencers are going to take. It's what Trump is going to do in regards to where do you stand with the GOP neocons. Yet Trump turns around and endorses McCarthy. You see, this is politics. This is the slimy thing. You're going to accuse her of one thing, but you've done it as well, which is just the hypocrisy. Trump's a politician now. I'm sorry. He's a politician. He knows how to play the game. He says, the real Nikki Haley, and sent with Trump's official campaign letterhead. The document relies on quotes from Haley to Hillary Clinton and Paul Ryan, question her bona fides on Social Security, highlight her previous weak stance on immigration, reveal her support for the U.S. escalation of the war in Ukraine, and lack of a stance on transgender issues. Hillary Clinton is an inspiration to Nikki Haley, the document charged, before quoting Haley in 2012. The reason I actually ran for office is because of Hillary Clinton, she said, according to the New York Times. Then the Trump camp noted that Haley praised Paul Ryan's Medicare proposal, which threatened Medicare and Social Security funding, before noting that Haley continued to question government spending on the two programs as recently as of April 2022. This is why it's back and forth. Like, I agree with her on that. The whole Medicaid thing, I agree with you. Question, absolutely. And Trump doesn't. Bro, that's pretty establishment right there. And that's why, the press has done a very good job at backing the GOP into this corner. It's like, they want to end Social Security. And the Republicans are like, no, we don't. I'd be standing there going, fuck, yes, I do. Absolutely. You're telling me you don't want to keep more of your own money? Like, I feel like that's a fair stance to take, quite honestly.
Yeah, but go down to the post office and see how well the federal government handles things.
Oh, my God.
They don't care.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
They really lean into the reputation of being awful. So any government job or any, you can't get fired no matter what.
They protect you. So therefore your service goes to shit. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. But Nikki Haley, dude, I don't know who put the wild hair up her. You don't stand a chance. I'm sorry. You really don't. It's not that I don't like her. It's just that you do not have a track record here. You really don't. You've got nothing to go off of. But Trump's going to go ahead and start, destroying her, as he should. But I listened to the soundbite of Nikki Haley the other day and says she supports aiding Ukraine, but not writing blank checks. It's a war about freedom. She contradicts herself so much here. She goes, I'm not about writing endless blank checks, but we should be there to help them fight for democracy. No, what the fuck are you on about? These are just generic statements you're making that are not founded in any type of actual rational point. Ukraine is not about democracy. What the fuck are you talking about? And here's the deal. This is why you neocon war hawks, you just don't get it. So then should we be supporting Venezuela? Should we be supporting the genocide of the Uyghurs in China? So that basically means anyone that's fighting for quote unquote democracy, which again, there's democracy and then there's a constitutional republic. These are completely different. There's a democratic election process, but it's not the same. But still, if the idea is that we need to support democracy wherever it's being fought for, that just turns us into the world police. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to pay my taxpayer money to Ukrainians. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm going to be honest, because you people out there virtue signaling like Nikki Haley, oh, you're a globalist. You're just a globalist is all it is. Call you what you are. You are a war hawk fucking globalist. I'm sorry, but Trump does have it right. America first. That's the way it should be. If Trump would stick to that, he's golden. But he won't. But Nikki Haley with this bullshit, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
As long as people are fighting for freedom, we should be there to support them.
In what capacity, Nikki? In what capacity?
Why should we believe anything that they say?
Exactly. Because
They
what
have
you
such
don't
a terrible track
yeah.
record.
And let's get into the weeds on this. Support Ukraine and what for what? The coup they had back in 2013, 2014? All the corruption? It's not so simplistic as we're backing freedom, because we're sending them billions of dollars of taxpayer money, whether it be through aid, through weaponry, it doesn't fucking matter. And you stand there and you support this because of freedom. Man, these people are idiots. These people are fucking idiots. And they believe her. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley believes the United States should continue to aid Ukraine in its war with Russia, but not write blank checks asserting it is a war about freedom. Really? Like the freedom to shell, Russian separatists back in 2014 and killed like over, freedom. It's so easy to just slap one of these fucking bumper sticker quotes on something. We should support Ukraine because if we don't, the bad guys win. Well, it's a little bit more complex than that. Maybe because they're both pieces of shit and just let them kill each other. I don't fucking care. But in her soundbite, she literally says, because Putin will not stop with Ukraine, he'll push on to Poland. No, he won't. She says he's going to go after the Balkans. He's already got the Balkans by the short hairs. They're damn near completely relying on Russian oil. You think they're going to rebel? Fuck no. He's got them economically in a stranglehold. The Balkans will not revolt. I don't think they will. Ukraine? Well, they're a 75, 76% export of oil. They can kind of do whatever the fuck they want. But either way, the point still stands. They're both pieces of shit. But if you really think that Putin is going to push beyond Ukraine, you're an idiot, because then it is all weapons-free NATO warfare. Then you have every right to go in there and do bomb runs on Russia, because now they have attacked a NATO ally, which, might I add, Ukraine denied wanting to join NATO. They were made the offer and they said no. Zelensky has ignored peace talks with Putin, probably because he's going to say, I'm not going to concede anything with Putin. It's all or nothing, which if that's the direction you want to take, fine, but you're putting your entire country at risk. If Putin will say, hey, we're going to stick with Donbass and this other place, and that's it, fair enough. You've lost it. They were already pro-Russian towns anyway. Let it go. But in the meantime, if you want to keep pushing through war, by all means. Yeah. But folks, here's something you need to ask yourself. We're sending billions in military aid and stuff like that in weaponry. What happens when the Ukrainian bodies dry up and there's nothing left to pull from? We've already invested so much economically into this. What do you think is going to happen? We are on the tipping point of another world war. We are so close and people just do not get it. There's videos circulating. I posted them all over my Instagram. They are grabbing motherfuckers off the street in Ukraine and sending them to the front to die. Ukraine is losing. And it's not making me a Russian apologist or a Russian supporter, but we have to accept the facts of reality. The press is lying. They are lying about this because we need to be united against the Ruskies. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fair enough, but stop fucking lying about it. Ukraine is losing. They're getting slaughtered. What happens when there's no more bodies?
Yeah, what do you think his popularity rating is currently with the Ukrainian people?
Zelensky? They probably love him.
Do you think so?
Do
you think the mothers
I don't know.
Young men who are being snatched off of the street will be like, yes.
I think it's so as far as the men being snatched up off the street, look, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that forced conscription, it is what it is. When your country's invaded, you have to go fight. Whether you agree with the war or not, unless you flee that country, which a lot of them did, you didn't even stay and fight. Granted, the women and children, but no. We're for equality. Those women should have stayed. Miss Ukraine did, apparently, didn't she? Didn't she take a few photos on the front line? Didn't they do these TikTok dances of these females in these Ukrainian uniforms? And aren't the women out there? Oh, that's right. No, they ran. Weird how that works.
Yeah, I wonder what the death toll is so far.
Last I checked, it was over 175,000 dead. Ukraine.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, at some point, it ain't going to get any better.
It's not.
Yeah, it might be time for peace talks. Yeah, and, I think you're right with the territories that they've already pushed into, like they were already, Russian, pro-Russia.
Yeah.
So
No.
what are you losing?
Exactly. But the perception of, you cannot let Russia come in here and then nibble at your feet and continue to let them nibble. You're going to have to do something, but it is what it is. But to go back to Nikki Haley, she says, we have the backs of our friends and we hold our enemies to account. I did not realize we were friends with Ukraine. What are we getting from Ukraine? Can anybody tell me? What has Ukraine done for America? 46 biolabs. 46 biolabs. Money laundering operations, labeled one of the most corrupt countries in the world. And this is exactly why these politicians like Nikki Haley, our friends. I'm not friends with those motherfuckers. And I love how they've tried to downplay the presence of Nazism in Ukraine. Well, Zelensky's a Jew. So is Soros. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean fucking thing. I love when people use that. It's like, oh, he's a Jew. I don't give a goddamn about that.
He was a Nazi as well.
He's a fucking Nazi. Nazi supporter. Being a Jew does not mean that you're suddenly going to be anti-Nazi. The Azov battalion was a part of their National Guard. They were recognized. But people say, oh, that's Ukraine propaganda. I'm seeing a lot of swastikas pop up everywhere. No, granted, do I think it's the overwhelming majority? No. But there is clearly more of a Nazi presence than there is the KKK in a fucking America. Mm-hmm. That's the damn truth. Because I don't see burning crosses everywhere. I don't see the White Knights clan hoods walking around down the streets of fucking Dallas. I don't see that. Maybe they're having these little tiny tiki torch meetings wherever. But I see the fucking Nazis everywhere in Ukraine. That's for damn sure. But oh no, that's propaganda. And if you say that, you're a Russian asset. You're a Russian apologist. No, maybe it's highlighting the fact that Ukraine has been painted as this great country that embraces democracy, when in fact they are not. They are the furthest thing from it. So all I'm trying to do is sit here and say, look, maybe you can take the stance of they're both shitheads and we should stay out of it. Now, you'll excuse me if the likes of Ben Shapiro and the rest of them that are clearly military strategists and experts on all of this, that are pro-Ukraine, and come out and say, like, well, hey, guys, listen up. Hey, gang, we're not war hawks. We can call out John Bolton. Then you turn around and you simp for the same fucking things. Realistically, do you really think that that Russia has the ability to push on past Ukraine to take Poland and then unleash total war? What the fuck? Yeah, come on.
They're struggling with Ukraine.
I'm
not
yes.
They go to like a country with like actual resources that doesn't have to panhandle to every other country
and
for
then
weapons.
Also get NATO involved. I mean, come on.
Sir, may I have some more weapons, sir?
No, oh my God. But folks, I'm telling you, this keeps up. And Ukraine runs out of bodies. Guess who they're coming for? We already got troops there. Your sons and daughters. They're going to go fight and die. I hope you're okay with that. Man, I'm not even lying about this. Every single one of you sons of bitches has got a Ukraine flag in your bio. You should be forced, conscripted, and sent over there. You support it that much, you go fight. But you fucking liberals and a lot of you neocon conservatives, you love getting involved in international warfare until it's actually your ass on the line. Then you start questioning things like, wait a minute, why are the poor and middle class going to die for rich politicians? Why? Go fight your own fucking wars. You want to send men and women to die? Let's see your sons and daughters. I want to see politicians' sons and daughters leading from the front. Then you wouldn't be so, heavily leaning towards these wars. That should be a thing. If you are an elected leader and you've got sons and daughters, it should be forced enlistment. They should have to serve. You know why? That's a great preventative from people and politicians suddenly saying, we need to get involved. Well, suddenly when your son or daughter's life is on the line, you start leaning towards, well, you know what? Let's try diplomacy for a little while. Let's give it a shot. Versus, bomb them, send troops. Now, of course, that's never going to happen, but my God, it makes sense to me. But folks, and all these feminists, all these morons, who do they go for? They go to the ghettos. Yeah, because you have nothing going on in your life. You have shitty education, and they say, hey, here's a way out. Here's the military. Oh, by the way, you're going to go fight and die in Ukraine. You're going to go fight and die in Iraq. You're going to go fight and die in Afghanistan.
Welcome.
You're welcome. There's your freedom. I had Athena in the gym today. Dude I've never even met walks up and he's just like, hey, are you a veteran? I think he thought it was because Athena was like a service, and she's not. She just has a Kong vest on because it's the anxiety thing. But it's just like, hey, thank you for your service. And I was like, hey, bro. I was like, I appreciate the support. I was like, but it's nothing to be proud of. And I was like, it was a fucking lying war. There was nothing truthful about it. I was like, I learned a lot of great lessons, but overall, thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. But there is nothing proud about that war in the Middle East. Nothing to be proud of. We were lied to. Now, I don't blame me. We were lied to.
Yeah.
It was propaganda 101 and we fell victim. Yeah, 17-year-old. I'm going to believe that. Absolutely. Fight the enemy. Fight the enemy. I'm like, maybe we are the bad guys. I don't know. Or maybe we're both bad and it's not worth dying for. You got one life to live. Do I really want to go die for these assholes? Not really.
Nope.
Here we go. White House explains why it turned down disaster relief for Ohio. Biden administration official, what East Palestine needs is much more expensive than what FEMA can provide. Than what you're allotting the federal budget to provide? Is that what you're saying? The White House explained why it turned down Ohio Governor Mike DeWine's request for disaster relief this week in the aftermath of a derailment of a train hauling toxic chemicals. A Biden administration official told Fox News Digital that it has provided extensive assistance to surrounding communities following the chemical release earlier this month in eastern Ohio. However, the official said the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the agency that usually provides relief to communities hit by hurricanes and other natural disasters, isn't best equipped to support the state's current needs. What? Okay. I have not read this article, so I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. I'm going to say if I was a governor, I'm going to request FEMA assistance in setting up places for temporary living quarters, food, clothes outside of the affected area. That's kind of what FEMA has done in the wake of these hurricanes and things such as that. They're present. So I'm kind of like, what do you mean they're not equipped to handle what you're dealing with? We're not asking them to go in there in like fucking Outbreak NBC suits and like, it's actually airborne, like a little Dustin Hoffman reenactment. We're just saying, hey, give them food and fucking water and clothing and shelter. I think that's fair. I'm really curious about this. The Biden administration is mobilizing a robust multi-agency effort to support the people in East Palestine, Ohio. Since February 3rd, the Environmental Protection Agency has had personnel on the ground. Okay, by the way, these are the same personnel that said, oh, it's all clear. But now there's videos circulating of people going to these lakes, stirring up the water with a stick, and you see the chemicals float to the top. That's clear? That's clean?
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to be around there.
Jesus.
I saw that JD Vance go down there with the like scrape the bottom of that creek with the.
It's all over Twitter. I saw a few other videos of people there saying, "Look, guys, they're saying the EPA is saying it's safe, and we're doing our water. It's like it's clearly not fucking safe." But folks, I got to tell you, you get what you deserve when you buy into the government. The government. Let's just push pause real quick and let's look back. Let's look back at what the government has told us. Masks work. That was debunked. COVID is killing everyone. That was debunked. Elderly, overweight, and young. The vaccine prevents catching COVID. That was debunked. Then it moved to the vaccine prevents the transmission of COVID. That was debunked. The vaccine prevents you from dying from COVID. That was debunked. All of this was debunked. And more recently, a new study just dropped. I posted on Instagram that talked about herd immunity in many cases is more effective than the vaccine. So that was debunked.
That's stuff we already knew.
We already knew this. And it's not so much that we really knew it at the time. It was a fact of...
Yeah, we did.
No, well, I mean, technically we didn't, because at the time it was kind of like, how about this? How about we just let it play out and see what happens? Because at first, I believed in COVID. We all believed in COVID.
Yeah, well, COVID is real. The Chinese virus is real.
It's real, yes.
I had it a couple times.
Yes, you did.
My wife had it.
Yeah, everybody
really
got
bad. Both times she had it, it was bad. Mm-hmm. So both times I had it, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But we all knew that herd immunity is the best kind of immunity. And we saw from, I think it was Sweden, where they didn't do anything.
They didn't, and was it Sweden?
Sweden or
Switzerland. We forget which one. They never locked down and they were fine.
Yeah. They eventually got to herd immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
These people are total scumbags.
Yeah.
This was an entire, it was just, They were against us the entire time, trying to get us to do things.
Everything
Put on a
the
mask,
government said,
get
they
this
were wrong.
vaccine, stay in your house,
Yeah.
pushing us around. We're like prisoners.
No, I agree.
We're still like prisoners.
Well, I mean, in the terms of like how much and often the government has gotten it wrong, my God, how could you still believe anything these guys have to tell you? If the government, like, folks, and look, I'm not trying to say this in a sense of just like, fuck everybody, but whatever the government is telling you, do your own research. These people do not give a shit about you. Our good friend over at the Young Turks, Sink Uger, the walking fucking melted puddle of ice cream, is finally starting to wake up to the idea that the left and the right are the same. They're the two sides of the same coin, and neither of them give a fuck about you. It's about power and money. It's not about caring about you. Because, folks, here's the deal. Where are the apologies for the COVID? Has Fauci apologized? Have the doctors apologized?
They're right behind the conspiracy theory.
Have the scientists apologized? Are your loved ones that died from this, are they coming back? Are you recouping any kind of financial damages? The point that I'm trying to make is just like with Agent Orange, just like with the burn pits of Iraq and Afghanistan, after a generation goes by, then the government will admit fault, but the people that were responsible are already dead and gone. So who's going to be, who's going to serve to blamed? Nobody. That's it. So instead, what we should be doing is saying, don't ever trust the fucking government. Don't ever trust them. Because, folks, truth is, you get what you pay for. And we're not voluntarily paying for them. We're being forced through taxation. If it came down to a government representative regarding the EPA and things like that, or me going through a private business, I'm going private every single fucking time. Why? Because you get what you pay for. And there's a competitive market. Whereas if the government's got a monopoly, there's no competitive market, and you get a shitty caliber of employee. Shitty caliber of scientist, shitty caliber of everything. The federal government does not fix problems. But if you look at the expansion of the federal government, even as recently as fucking back in 65 to what it is now, holy shit. Holy shit. Go back to the 1700s when we first established the government. You see what it is now. Like, holy shit. I'm pretty sure Ben Franklin would be up here going like, oh, no. No. It was never supposed to be this big. Hell no.
Yeah, I really feel like I don't have any representation under this taxation.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's ridiculous. Biden administration, okay. But what East Palestine needs is much more expansive than what FEMA can provide. They continued, FEMA is on the front lines when there is a hurricane or tornado. This situation is different. Okay? The situation is different in the causation, but the needs of the population basically are mirrored. Food, shelter, and clothing. FEMA is literally for that. You can do that. I've worked with FEMA. Back when we got hit with Katrina, yes. We know what they're capable of. The official highlighted 4 agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency, Centers for Disease Control, Department of Transportation, and Department of Health and Human Services, that they said are actively assisting local residents on the ground. This is the CDC that has lied. Department of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, clearly, we have idiots running this country, folks, and I will leave it at that. We have idiots running this country. We have JV. This is not the best that America has to offer, and that's why when you vote based upon their skin color or their sexuality, this is what you get. We have juniors. We've got JV. Honestly, we have fucking retards running this country. Buttigieg is only in there because he's gay. Kamala's only in there because she's black. Biden is only in there because he fucking rigged the election. These people are not based upon merit because you fucking Democrats don't get it. You bitch so much about Trump's taxes, but you say nothing about the Democratic fucking leadership in there that has been in there for life that instituted these tax laws that he's taking advantage of. So rather than blame the fucking victim, or you're blaming you're blaming Trump, and he's not a victim, but you're not putting blame where it should be. And quite honestly, getting out of any kind of taxes, I'm all for. Fuck the IRS. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm here from the CDC and I'm here to help. It's like, oh no, you've killed enough with COVID. You go the fuck away. Matter of fact, go play in traffic and go start that shit. You motherfuckers are worthless. You are worthless. And meanwhile, in the midst of everything, Congress gives themselves a raise. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
You know what, guys? I think we deserve this.
We've fucked up enough. Let's give ourselves a raise. The economy's in shambles. Prices are through the fucking roof. Gas is all the way up. We have to basically prostitute ourselves for eggs. Yeah, we deserve a raise. We've earned this.
We deserve it.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and invest in this Raytheon thing and favor them with a contract or two. But that's not insider trading, man. Folks, why would you ever want to go die for these people? Why? Why would you ever want to go die for these people? They don't give a shit about you. Last I checked, representation means they represent us. I don't see it. My representative's getting his butthole licked by an ISIS bride.
Yep.
I don't see it. Sorry.
With a nice glass of scotch.
With a nice glass of scotch. Lick my taint, bitch. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Speaking of COVID, Belgian goalkeeper, 25, dies suddenly after saving penalty kick.
Oh, my God.
Arnie Espiel, a 25-year-old Belgian soccer player, goalkeeper, died suddenly on Sunday after collapsing on the field immediately after saving a penalty kick. Espiel goal kept for Winkelsport B, a team that plays in Belgian West Brabant's second provincial division. In his final match, Winkelsport B was leading Westrobeke 2-1 at their home field in Sint-Louis Winkel in the West Flanders province. In the second half of the game, West was awarded a penalty kick to which Espiel saved. Belgian media reports the Belgian goalkeeper saved the penalty shot and collapsed on the ground. Emergency crews immediately took the pitch in an attempt to revive the player with a defibrillator, but to no avail. Espiel was pronounced dead after arriving at the hospital following his collapse. Winkelsport is very deep in mourning by the sudden death of Arnie Espiel. Espiel's team said in a statement, "We wish the family, friends, and Arnie, blah, 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 blah." Okay, cool. Question in everybody's mind. You know what I'm going to ask. You know what I'm going to ask, folks. And here's the other thing. Before we even answer that, why are we asking that question? Because there's a lot of athletes around the world dropping dead.
Yeah, there's a kid in it was I think a defensive or offensive lineman at Jackson State University who just recently collapsed.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
He's
and note how the press tries it down. Hey, it's anecdotal. Bro, when I'm seeing athletes drop dead left and right, I'm kind of like, what?
And did you see did we talk about the DeMar Hamilton?
No, go ahead. I'm glad you brought that up because I couldn't remember his name. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, when Strahan was interviewing him during the halftime show, and he was asking him what the doctors told him, he was like, or what happened to him. He's like, I'd rather not get into it, or something along those lines. But yeah, he didn't want to say what the reason was or what the doctors had said to him why he collapsed on the field. So makes you go
weird.
I mean, my mind automatically goes to the vaccine.
The jab. Did he get
something's
jabbed?
going on.
The question is, that's the question. Did he get the jab? And did he get the boosters?
Yeah. So
then Megan Rapinoe, that fucking butch lesbian, like, I'm getting my booster, bro. I hope it blood clots in your fucking heart and you die, you stupid bitch.
That's your choice.
It's your choice. But the thing is, all these people have led unfortunate people down this road of this vaccine, which is not safe for the people. Because you know why? We've got no long-term clinical trials. And all we said was, and the point that I was trying to make earlier is that I don't know if we were right about COVID right off the bat. But the one thing we were right about is questioning the fucking government and the efficiency of said organization. And clearly we were right. Why? Because we are veterans. We know a thing or two because we've been fucked a time or two by the government. Just saying.
You're a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I'm not.
Yeah, well,
just to be clear
you're right there with me.
But I feel like I was correct on COVID from the very start.
Well, yeah, you were saying ivermectin and the what were they called? The natural ways. The
ivermectin. It was the hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah. Well, the natural, but what was it? Not homeopathic, but
from the very beginning, it seemed extremely strange that
they were downplaying it so much.
No, going up to the election. So what was it? The start of 2020. This is the election year, and then all of a sudden you have this massive pandemic released onto the world.
Weird.
Because nobody liked this guy down, and then everybody's going to have to wear a mask, and then everybody's going to have to stay. When that has never happened before, and when something like that happens during an election season, and you have all this disinformation and lies put out by the media and other politicians,
say girl.
Like, but you know what's kind of fucked up? You know what? They did this on purpose. This thing is going to get overblown, and this is going to give them an opportunity to herd the people like cattle.
Absolutely. And
unfortunately, there's a ton of idiots that'll get on board with it.
Oh, they will. They 100% will.
Try to force everybody into their views.
It's not that like I'm sitting here saying like, oh, we were right. It's just saying like our stance this entire time was, look, we're all about freedom of choice. Let the people choose. Do not force the vaccine. If you want to get the vaccine, go get the vaccine. I don't care. Do I think you're an idiot? Yes, I do. I genuinely do. Because you're trusting in the government. They've got your best interest at heart. Guys, they don't give a fuck about you. And my God, one just has to simply look and say, wait, what's the normal time for an FDA-released vaccine? Now, and I love how there was so much like gray area that if you came out against the vaccine, now you're anti-vaccine. It's like, no, I'm really not. I believe there's probably a lot of good vaccines out there that I've even gotten that work 100%. Yeah. But they had long-term trials. This COVID one didn't. 5 to 7 years is the normal amount. We had what, a year, if that? Mm-hmm. And Fauci's out there, who, by the way, how many homosexuals did he get killed in the 80s with the AIDS fucking outbreak? And he said, AIDS, they're probably airborne. Like, bro, where are you getting this from? And you're scaring people. And what did Trump do? Did he fire Fauci? No. But can I blame Trump? No, because if he would have fired Fauci, he would have caught holy hell. He had to have Fauci there. Fauci was the man. Unfortunately, and look, I know people are going to like to say that, but if you're Trump and you actually give a fuck about re-election, because let's just not even kid ourselves, that's what it's about. It's about perception and then re-election basis. Firing Fauci would have cost Trump so much more. He had to keep him there. He had to. I didn't like it, but it's like, bro, if Fauci is the perceived savior of the world, regardless if he's not or if he is, Trump firing him, done. The GOP would have turned their back on him.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, I wish he would have. It would have been great, but man, as far as a re-election, hell no. Fauci was not touchable.
I would say that's another one of his bigger mistakes is not getting rid of that guy sooner because he
should have. Yeah.
He's an establishment guy. He's going to do what anybody tells him to do.
$400,000 a year he got paid to do what? So many deaths are on this motherfucker's head. And what happens to him? Nothing. There is no accountability. So you Republicans and you senators that sit up there like the Ted Cruz, you'll excuse me if I don't give two flying fucks about Marjorie Taylor Greene crucifying some shithead that worked for Twitter. Until I see motherfuckers behind bars or we see Nuremberg trials of people that were murdered by the likes of fucking Chris or Andrew Cuomo and the likes of them, I don't give a fuck about what any of you blue or red people have to say. I don't care. There's no accountability. So you call me back when the shooting starts, because honestly, that's the only thing that saves this country at this point. It is so fucking corrupt. It is so corrupt, and there's no saving it. You cannot vote your way out of this. All they're doing now is more laws, more regulation, more this. That's not what the federal government's role is. It's gone overboard, way overboard. But meanwhile, you've got dead relatives. You got businesses were destroyed. You got more people in poverty because of what? This massive fucking lie that was embraced. Ridiculous. And then, you remember it was like, oh, we don't need to do the shots anymore. We have pill form. Oh, but now we have vaccines for the vaccines that are causing blood clots. And people on the left, oh my God, you just buy this up. You fondle the fucking little gravy boat balls. Oh man, you're just sucking that big pharma dick. And then you turn around and say that you're socialists. And you're saying that, oh, you know, these big corporate, the record profits, blah, 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 blah. You attack the gas companies, who I'm not saying they're not fucking selfish or they're not greedy, but we're all fucking greedy. That's what makes businesses work. You should be greedy for success. It's like, oh, the gas companies have posted record profits. In one sector because you eliminated all competition in other areas. Of course they have record profits. You shifted consumership to a select few. Of course your shit's going to go up. That's like saying, hey, we've got H-E-B and Walmart. We're shutting down H-E-B and Walmart suddenly gets record high gas. No fucking shit. You funneled customers to them. And this is how slippery this fucking administration is. And you try and tie that in to green energy. We're tired of having gas companies posting record profits and people get paid nothing because the government interjects itself in there and you are the causation of all of our fucking problems. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And people still buy this shit. They still believe this bullshit. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. And why do I keep doing this? Because I got a little bit of hope. I'm hoping that we get something. We get enough people to open their minds to actually become educated voters. And hopefully, maybe one day we can vote ourselves. But I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I really don't. I wish I could say I did, folks. I wish I could say I did. I'm not saying stop voting. I'm not saying stop caring. But I'm saying until people wake the fuck up, get their heads out of their ass, and start actually going beyond single issue voting, Again, dude, for the life of me, how the fuck does Mitt Romney, does Lindsey Graham, how the fuck do these retards keep getting reelected? I don't get it. I just don't get it. These people are fucking idiots. These people are fucking idiots. And you're sitting here wondering, like, did I like miss this prescription of stupid pills that I was supposed to take? Am I the only one that's sitting here going, this doesn't meet the common sense criteria? It just doesn't. I'm at a loss. I'm at a fucking loss. All right, let's move on, folks. Let's move on. It's ridiculous. Another athlete drops dead. No, nothing to see here. It's just anecdotal. Okay, fair enough. My question to that is, how many need to die before you actually acknowledge, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something up. You know when people say, oh, that's a generalization. Well, when it generally happens, that means it's happening more times than not. Therefore, the percentage of it is highly likely. So you tell me. I'm curious on this one. Weird. All right, moving on. Don Lemon apology. Oh, fuck that dude. Anyway, 5X cops, the ones that are in the news right now, apparently they are the black faces of white supremacy, according to the left. 5 former Memphis Police Department officers charged in the death of Tier Nichols, a 29-year-old black man who died days after he was fatally beaten by officers in January, pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges on Friday. I've seen the video. You seen the video?
I haven't seen it.
They beat the fuck out of him. They beat the fuck out of him.
So walk me. Was it did they pull him over like in a car? Or?
I'd have to actually look the video fully. The only video I saw was them initially beating him getting up and trying to run away because they're beating the fuck out of him. Then they just grab him and beat him. It does not make him look good. It does not make him look good. This guy was down. Mm-hmm. He was clearly detained. Now, of course, he's going to put up some struggle. I get that. I mean, it makes sense. But does not authorize you to fucking just like beat the fuck out of this guy. I'm like, okay, that's where police brutality is a serious thing.
Headshots with the baton.
I don't know if it was like that point, but it was.
That's what I read. There was
could have been.
There's some nasty. I mean, obviously, was nasty because he died 3 days later in the hospital.
That's sad.
And they're like,
that's sad.
Like, no, we're not guilty.
But I feel like there's so much more to this story than the press is going to let on, because there are people saying like there was personal issues involved with this. There's there was something like they were teaming up on this guy for a reason. Like there was a personal vendetta.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which would constitute black on black crime. You just used a badge to cover your violent nature. I mean, fuck. They were saying like apparently this dude had something or he was banging one of their, I don't know. But they said this was beyond law enforcement professional. This was personal. It's like, Jesus. Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
But where's the BLM? Where's the BLM? Where are we burning shit down?
They're watching from afar in their mansion.
That
up
fucking bitch, she did an interview. Oh my God. I think I shared it. Let me see if it's still there. Oh, this had me fucking rolling. This had me rolling. She literally admits, fuck, it's gone. Oh my God, it's so great. She does this interview with this other, this journalist, I guess if you call him that. I don't even know if journalists even exist anymore. But she talks about, it's like, did you use the money to buy real estate? She goes, absolutely not. And then she goes into this 5-minute tirade of saying, I was instructed by other black women in power that we need to invest in real estate, and that's what we did. So I don't understand why it's so bad. A black woman buying property, isn't that what we want? Not with donor money, you stupid bitch. No. So then it's just so funny. It's like, wait, she just said she didn't do it, and then she says she did it, and you should be happy because she's black. Yeah. Do you wonder why racism is probably growing in this country? Because black people like that, you bring it on yourselves. You use your race as your reason for doing something, and then when somebody criticizes you, you turn around and say, oh, it's because you're racist. Well, maybe because you're a piece of shit black person. And the reason that we're calling you out for being black is you use that as your defense to shield yourself from any kind of criticism, which makes you a fucking racist. The fuck out of here. She literally admitted it in this interview, and people, BLM, we march, we go march. And you spent $6 million on one property. What the fuck? That does not sound like oppression to me. That does not sound like oppression whatsoever. That sounds like privilege. The very same thing you accuse people of me as.
That's
privileged as fuck.
So they keep talking about people with privilege, and the only people that have privilege are people like
minorities,
the BLM, and everybody in government.
Yeah,
they're the only ones.
Meanwhile, middle class America, you're the ones getting raked over the coals the most. Lower class are fine. Upper class, they're okay. It's the middle class that suffers the most. But these guys are pleading not guilty? Of course you are. You kidding me? You beat the fuck out of this kid. For what? Granted, okay, if the kid like robs him, okay, fair enough, but that doesn't justify you to beat this guy once he's detained. That's the professionalism that comes with the job. If you don't like it, don't be a cop.
Did you hear what's going on with Clarence Thomas?
Oh yeah, he's a black. He's a white supremacist apparently.
Yeah, so Georgia lawmakers want to put a statue of the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, a Georgia native, at the state capitol. However, there is major pushback from a coalition of Democrats that are calling him an Uncle Tom who sold his soul to a slave master. And this is a black man who's accomplished
so much.
So much.
He's the highest court in the land. But blacks, they're victims, right? You're such victims. You've got Barack Obama. You got Clarence Thomas. You got Eric Holder. You got Condoleezza Rice. Fucking Colin Powell. How many motherfuckers do you need? But now let's go look at other minority representations that they don't even fucking compare. And they don't bitch nearly as much. So you'll wonder why there's so much racism towards black people is because your culture in America right now is not looking so good. And all the whining that you're doing in comparison to other minorities, you are the least successful. So why is it that other minorities are not nearly in the same category as you, but you seem to think it's blamed on white people? Why can't we have that conversation? What is black culture in America? I'm not talking about African culture because quite honestly, that's Africa. And half of them don't even fucking like black Americans. They will tell you that flat out. Let's have that conversation.
I think it's a little bit more than half.
They fucking hate them. Black Africans hate black Americans because you want to sit there and say, oh, Mother Africa. And they're like, you're not even from here. You've never lived in fucking poverty. You've never had to live in these fucking areas where there's war-torn lands and child soldiers and shit like that, and actual fucking slavery. What you are entitled minorities in America that you bitch so much that white liberals came to your fucking defense to use you as a political pawn to secure more power and more money. Point being, you re-elected or you elected a white liberal like Biden. What the fuck? And the only reason he picked Kamala, are you ready? It's because she's black. And look at what she's done. If you want to have representation of your ethnicity, go look at people that actually have done something worth a shit and endorse them. Kamala sucked dick to get where she's at. Oh, that's such empowerment. She's fucking worthless. I sat there. I listened to Ben Carson speak down in San Antonio. I'm like, this guy gets it.
Does it make a difference that it was a penis of color?
Yeah, it's black dick. Yeah, absolutely. Ben Carson. I'm sorry, folks. Brilliant man.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant man. And I'm like, this is the best of some of the best that America has to offer.
Yeah.
But then you look at other stuff and you're just like, you start to understand it's all about money. It's all about money. That's why the system's broken. It's fucking broken. You need so much. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right. California man ran over while allegedly trying to steal a catalytic converter. Good. We need more of that. Good. Run those little motherfuckers over. Alan West. Yes, thank you. Alan West, another good dude. Yeah. Alan West.
He goes to my church.
Yeah.
He is a good guy.
Ben Shapiro's wife's a doctor, and Josh goes to church with Alan West.
There it is, everybody.
Get him on the show.
There it is.
Get him on the show.
I'll talk to him
next time you see him.
I haven't gone up to him and be like, hey, Mr.
You should do it. Tell him, like, we got a good podcast here. We endorsed him when he was running. We said we want to see what he does. See if we can get him in here, man.
I'll see.
You should do it. What do you have to lose? He says no? Fair enough.
He'll kick me out of the church.
Kick you out of the church. Step going up to Colonel West.
I met
him twice. He knows who I am. I met him twice. I just need, if I can get in front of him, it'll probably happen. We'll probably make it happen.
Maybe if you get saved again, I'll take you to
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Did you see the Wienermobile, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
You're telling me. Go ahead.
Yeah. They stole the catalytic converter out of that thing in Las Vegas. Do you think they were just drunk and thought it might be hilarious to steal the catalytic converter from the Wienermobile?
If it was me, abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, yeah. It's the Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile.
I wouldn't even need the catalytic. I would just do it because I say I stole it from the Wienermobile. Not really. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a piece of shit human being.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's like I would frame that as like a catalytic converter from from the Wienermobile. Put that right over there above the fireplace.
In Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh my God! I didn't even know that thing was still in existence. Good for them. Does it actually sell wieners out of that thing? Or is it just a mobile?
It's just a mobile
okay.
where they drive it across the country to different events.
Well, at least you should do is sell hot dogs out
At
of the
least
motherfucker.
they did.
You would think.
I wonder where they're going to get a catalytic converter replacement.
It's like having an ice cream truck with no ice cream. You're like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, it should have some hot dogs in
exactly.
there, right?
Give me a hot dog. Zip. Son of a bitch. All right. Last, most certainly not least, leave it to the Navy. Navy to reset fitness test failures amidst recruitment retention struggles. Move may allow up to 1,500 sailors to remain in the service. Navy Rear Admiral says, folks, all this is being that you can't hack standards. Nobody wants to enlist anymore because of what's going on in Ukraine and the corruption of the military. And now you're trying to make it to where you can keep more people in versus having them adhere to standards and kicking their sorry fat asses out. Good Lord. Good Lord. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Can you blame them? It's like this one big ecosystem of retardation. The administration is not worth serving. The war in Ukraine is picking up. You got troops being deployed. Oh, 101st got some letters, by the way. My old unit. They're being told, stand by.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now, if you know anything about the 101st, the 82nd Airborne, those are your main heavy hitters. Those are the units that they're you've got Rangers, Spec Ops. Those are direct action units. Don't get me wrong. But when you want actual warfare, boot on boot warfare, you're going with the bigger units. I saw the actual paper that are the orders that would been given down and notified the soldiers. I'm like, bro, these are scary times. These are scary fucking times. It's crazy. But what's going to happen? If we can't meet recruiting criteria, we lower the standards and you let more pieces of shit in. And the most common thing I hear, though, is a lot of people saying there should be forced service. No, because then you go back to a Vietnam generation era of military, and that means you're now potentially sharing a foxhole with somebody that does not want to be there and does not give a fuck. I'm sorry. I would rather have a volunteer force, which if you actually, I don't know, had a force worth a fuck and you did not have woke leaders like Miley and the rest of these, and Lloyd Austin, SecDef, you would actually have a military worth serving in. But right now, sorry, when you're putting out the pronoun stuff, and I don't want to join that bullshit. It's not the military. Everybody thinks they're joining their grandfather's military. You're not. You're joining a woke corporation that forced vaccines on their own troopers. So where was the loyalty? It didn't exist. So fuck you. Fair enough. But, well, hey, folks, that wraps it up here. It is Friday. Thank God for that. Lord knows. Hey, we want to say thank you for tuning into the podcast today. You want to go show some love, go check out the allamericansavageshow.com website. We post the articles over there. You can sign up for the emails. Hit that little bell at the bottom right. That turns on notifications of every time we start streaming. We're always going to be live over here on Rumble. Rumble, just look up John Burke on Rumble. We got like almost 8,000 followers. If you could, go give me a like, go give me a follow. We appreciate that. We are uncensored. We are not sponsored by anybody. We do our own thing. We say whatever the fuck we want. We're not loyal to anybody. That's why we're in the position now to where we can call out Trump. If DeSantis fucks up, we'll call him out. Absolutely. We're loyal to the Constitution and God. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. So again, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Without you, and I'm not saying this to flap my gums to make a breeze, without you hitting that share button, without you telling your friends, we don't grow. And common sense ideologies die in the darkness. So folks, thank you. Go tweet me out at John Burkey, JOHNBURKY. Go follow me at John Burke 1776 and John Burke 1775 on Instagram. You got anything to add, my man?
You guys have a great weekend.
Make sure you go check out shellshockcbd.com. Coach Savage saves you about 10% off there. Love you. Appreciate you. And as always, you stay savage, America.